The Nazi atrocities committed throughout World War II reached unthinkable depths of depravity. A dark system of forced prostitution was created in addition to the horrors of concentration camps, aiming to manipulate and exploit victims. A shocking new book reveals the horrific facts behind the development of concentration camp bordellos, as well as the ruthless goals that inspired their establishment. But what compelled the Nazis to force women into prostitution within concentration camps? What role did the installation of these bordellos play in the annihilation of entire camp populations? Join us as we unearth frightening details and shed light on a hitherto unknown aspect of Nazi cruelty, revealing the hidden motivations behind the establishment of these horrific institutions. Prepare to enter a dark period in history in which sexual exploitation was used to undermine the spirit and production of the camp population. During World War II, the German army's devious plan to control sexual activities within their ranks resulted in the construction of a huge network of military brothels throughout the seized regions. This policy has disastrous consequences, resulting in the demise of camp populations and the horrific exploitation of thousands of women. The German military established approximately 500 military brothels under the supervision of Reinhard Heydrich, one of the most infamous SS officers, methodically organizing and documenting their operations. Each soldier had only 15 minutes with a sex slave, and each visit cost 3 Reichsmarks. Condoms were severely enforced, although policemen frequently persuaded women with large quantities of money to engage in unprotected intercourse. Following the encounter, soldiers were subjected to sanitization processes and obtained certifications attesting to their cleanliness, a twisted veneer designed to maintain a sense of control and hygiene. The German soldiers saw themselves as simple bystanders at the brothels, but the reality was far from agreeable. Victims of rape and sexual enslavement, the ladies were deprived of their dignity and subjected to unspeakable acts of brutality. While some women chose prostitution as a desperate tactic to escape the horrors of concentration camps, the great majority were forced into it. The Nazis provided these women with a stark choice: sexual slavery or execution. As the Germans strained to meet their nefarious needs, they resorted to snatching women from occupied territories. Beautiful ladies were forcibly removed from pubs and streets by German police, put aboard trucks, and transferred to unknown destinations. The kidnapped women rarely came home, instead plunging into indescribable agony. In addition, the concentration camps supplied sex slaves for military brothels. Ravensbrück concentration camp, notorious for its atrocities, became a hub for supplying women to work in these heinous institutions. Approximately 5,000 women were chosen for this purpose, fully aware of the horrific fate that awaited them. Many people opted to terminate their lives rather than continue to suffer in a circle of despair. The Nazis' forced prostitution had a disastrous effect on the camp populations. The physical and psychological destruction inflicted upon the women and the moral degradation of the German soldiers further contributed to the erosion of humanity within these harrowing environments. It is a horrifying testament to the depths of depravity that can be reached in times of war and the urgent need for remembrance and justice. Within the abhorrent confines of concentration camps, the Nazis implemented a system of forced prostitution that resulted in the further destruction of camp populations. Under the strict race laws imposed by the Nazis, certain groups such as SS guards, Jews, and Russian prisoners of war were prohibited from utilizing the brothels that operated within the camps. The Nazis meticulously controlled every aspect of life within the camps, even extending their influence to the realm of sexual encounters. According to Robert Sommer, who conducted extensive research on the topic, approximately 200 women were forced into sexual servitude within the camps. The majority of these women were German, but there were also Polish, Ukrainian, and Dutch individuals among them. The women selected for these degrading roles included political prisoners and those deemed asocial by the Nazis, such as beggars, the unemployed, and alcoholics. The SS recruited these women from hard labor work details, where the harsh conditions made survival uncertain. Initially, the SS enticed the women by promising their release after 6 months of working in the brothels. However, this promise was nothing but a cruel lie. When the female prisoners discovered the deception, the SS resorted to forcibly selecting them for the brothels. The routine within the bordellos mirrored the stringent regulations governing every aspect of camp life. Talking between clients and women was strictly forbidden. The missionary position was enforced, and shoes had to be kept off the bed. Despite the Nazis' intentions, the brothels failed to serve as effective incentives. Most concentration camp prisoners suffered from perpetual hunger, and only a minuscule percentage roughly 1%, made use of the brothels. Those who did frequent the brothels were often camp overseers or prisoners involved in the administrative tasks of the camp, such as cooks or office workers. For many, the motivation was not simply a desire for sex, but rather a desire to be in the presence of a woman after years of isolation. The aftermath of the war revealed the profound silence surrounding the issue of forced prostitution within the camps. Only one known case emerged of a woman attempting to claim compensation for her ordeal, but the German court dismissed her claim. The victims of this heinous crime were left to suffer in silence, their voices suppressed, and their suffering unrecognized. The forced prostitution within concentration camps was yet another layer of the horrifying atrocities committed by the Nazis. During World War II, the Japanese military also subjected hundreds of thousands of women from various countries to a life of sexual slavery in brothels. These women, known as comfort women, were forcefully taken from Korea, the Philippines, Vietnam, China, and other nations occupied by Japan. Estimating the exact number of women involved in this system is challenging, with historians placing it between 50 and 200,000 victims. The majority of these women hail from occupied territories such as Korea, China, and the Philippines. The establishment of these brothels was originally intended to provide a regulated sexual outlet for soldiers, aiming at reducing incidents of rape, which fueled rising anti-Japanese sentiment across occupied territories. However, the comfort stations not only failed to achieve their stated goal, but also exacerbated rape cases and the spread of venereal diseases. Coercion played a significant role in compelling women to work in these brothels. Testimonies revealed that young women were abducted from their homes in countries under Imperial Japanese rule. Local intermediaries used deceptive tactics to promise jobs in factories, restaurants, or nursing homes. Correspondence within the Imperial Japanese Army indicated that these facilities aimed to reduce rape crimes committed by Japanese soldiers, prevent the spread of venereal diseases among troops, and protect military secrets from civilian leaks. The Japanese referred to comfort women as public toilets because they live in deplorable conditions and endured physical and psychological trauma. The establishment of comfort houses originated in response to the widespread rape of Chinese women by Japanese soldiers, such as in the Shanghai Incident in 1932 and the Nanjing Massacre in 1937. The fear of antagonizing Chinese civilians, rather than genuine concern for the victims, prompted the Japanese forces to create comfort stations throughout occupied Chinese territories. It is disheartening to note that American authorities, while aware of Japan's abhorrent treatment of women in occupied territories, permitted the official brothel system to operate. The documents reveal that tens of thousands of women were forced to provide sexual services to U.S. troops under General Douglas MacArthur, ordered the closure of the brothels in 1946. In the aftermath of World War II, we witnessed the collective silence surrounding the issue of comfort women. In Confucian cultures like China and Korea, where premarital sex is stigmatized, these women were considered societal outcasts. This forced prostitution by both the Nazis and the Japanese army resulted in a lot of damage to the population of the prisoners in the camps because they were forced to work in harsh conditions for the reward of having the chance to have intercourse with a woman. All this sums up the destruction of the entire camp population, and such horrible acts are shameful and should be condemned by everyone. The plight of the comfort women remains a painful and unresolved chapter in history. Acknowledging their suffering, offering a genuine apology, and providing appropriate restitution is crucial for healing and reconciliation. By confronting the dark realities of the past, we can strive to prevent such atrocities from recurring and work towards a more just and compassionate world.